Hi. Yesterday evening I met with someone who heads the Lean-In chapter in India, and they wanted to give me a talk to the women of the Lean-In chapter, and we were exploring different topics, playing with what I could talk about, and I was telling her about all the various things that I do, and she went back, had a chat with her team members, and this morning she got back to me, and the topic that they'd like me to speak on was being centered in joy, and I was, wow, that is pretty much at the heart and center of a whole lot of work that I do. And it took me a while to sort of realize it, but that is the core essence of almost all the programs that I offer and my own life's journey. And this morning I wrote a manifestation to myself in the form of a poem titled I Am Joy. And it's a simple poem, but it means a lot to me, and I'd like to share it with you. So I'm going to read it out to you and then tell you a little about what some of these paragraphs actually mean to me, and seeing if that might contribute to any of you. So we'll start. I am joy, and I won't give it up. Not for anything in the world. Not for money, not for fame, not for the sake of keeping my name. I am joy, and I won't give it up. Not for anyone in the world. Not for those I love and respect. Not for those I nurture and protect. I am joy, and I won't give it up. Not for any occurrence in the world. Not for injustice, not for violence, not for hypocrisy or pretense. I am joy, and I won't give it up, because if I give up joy, I give up me. What's left is then a shadow at most, with bits and pieces, a fractured ghost. Without my joy, my thoughts are mean, incoherently appearing on my mind screen. Without my joy, my emotions are wild, transforming me into a tantrum child. Without my joy, I am of little use to myself or to those I love. Without my joy, I become a pain to beings on earth and those above. When I be my joy, I be me. I be the joy I was born to be. This joy is the source of my power. This joy is the key that sets me free. So, okay, just to, the poem explains itself, but just a few points that I wanted to chat about. One is, for me, it's been easy to claim and be and own my joy when it sort of comes naturally, which means when things around me are going good, basically what that means is the way I've decided they should go. But when things around me are not unfolding in the way I've decided that they should unfold, which means I call it bad, or I call it a problem, or I call it a crisis, those are the times that I find it more challenging to stay centered in my joy. But what I've realized is that those are the times it's the most important for me to not give up on my joy, because those are the times I need myself the most. I need me to be me. I need my thoughts to be crystal clear. I need my emotions to support me. I need the power to take action. Maybe it is supporting someone else. Maybe it's supporting myself. Maybe it is creating change. Maybe it is getting out of a tricky situation. Maybe it is standing up for something. And those are really the times when I need to be anchored in joy. The other thing I wanted to talk about is a lot of times, and I've seen myself doing this in the past, is giving up my joy because I'm supposed to be a kind, nice, empathetic human being, which we often interpret as feeling bad and sad because someone around us is suffering. Now, we would be stupid to assume that people won't have problems, that you won't have problems, the people around you won't have problems and pains and difficulties. I've had lots, and so have people around me. And of course, empathizing with somebody's pain or problem has nothing to do with cutting yourself out from the source of your own joy. And this is something that I have learned very slowly in a long way. Increasingly, I'm now realizing that these are really two independent variables. I can stay anchored and centered in my joy, and I can still empathize with the pain, suffering, or problem of another. And the more I'm centered and anchored in my joy, I actually don't buy into the trauma and drama and the narratives that often we build around the pain, problem, or suffering, which then actually helps me even be of support or help to the person who is actually going through the problem. And the third reason I realized I often cut myself out from my joy is because I feel I want to belong. If everyone around me is complaining, or everyone is angry, or everyone's fighting, and they're coming from this place, and there would always be legitimate reasons to do that, and I'm like, oh, but I would be weird if I am still being joyful. I don't have a right to be joyful in this situation, or I'm not supposed to be joyful when blah 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 is happening. But the more I grow old, the more I realize I have a right to be joyful anytime, anywhere, every time, everywhere. And the more I'm realizing that I am joy, which means when I'm joyful, I am me. And which means when I'm cutting off my joy, I am handicapping myself to this ghost-like shadow version of me, which is not even me. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you. And on that note, I'm going to post in the link below a couple of programs that I have. One is called Leading with Joy, and this is something I've been offering for 8 years. This is related to working in the corporate world, and many people think that when you work, especially in the corporate world, you need to cut yourself off from joy. No, that's not true. So look up that program if you're one of those. And the second one is called Enjoying Exams, because again, I do see a lot of students believing and buying into the assumption that, oh, this is exam time, this is stress time, and therefore there's no space or room for joy, and operating from a joyless paradigm. So again, if you're doing that, maybe you could challenge that, and you can get more details about both these programs below. And maybe I'll see some of you on those programs. Bye, and have a lovely day. And don't let anything ever cut you off from your joy, because you are your joy. Bye.